What's going on? Make sure you check out our new sponsor, Cell Phone Buyers Recyclers. They pay cash for smartphones and tablets. Like and share their social media pages, Facebook and Instagram, and websites in the description for a chance to win an iPhone. What you waiting on? Hurry up and get that iPhone. A crazy story broke the other day on why the Phoenix Suns in 2011 passed up on an opportunity to draft Kawhi Leonard, but instead took Markieff Morris out of Kansas. Let's talk about it. We back. Goodfellas Sports TV. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Kawhi Leonard may have one of the craziest draft backstories of all time in NBA history. But he ended up going to San Antonio, but people forget Indiana drafted him. Indiana had an opportunity to pair him with Paul George, but later they turned around and traded him to San Antonio for George Hill, which in the long term, San Antonio just know what they're doing. You know, from Sam Presti being there to Greg Popovich, they just are amazing at drafting and dealing and knowing, talent. So, what happened was Phoenix Suns had Kawhi Leonard in on a pre-draft visit. They wanted to interview him. They wanted to get to know about him. I remember Isaiah Thomas was talking about his pre-draft visit with the Detroit Pistons, and they had historically been bad since they had came from Fort Wayne to Detroit. And he said he wanted to go to Chicago, and he answered every question wrong. And Jack McCloskey said, "I'm taking you regardless." Okay, with Kawhi Leonard, he comes into the Phoenix meeting, and he's sweating through the suit. So Phoenix said that they took that as a sign of, he's nervous. He's not going to be able to deal with high-pressure situations. We can't count on him in the clutch, etc. The other knock on Kawhi Leonard was the ability to shoot the ball from the perimeter. But one thing they knew about Kawhi Leonard was that he was a good person, he stayed out of trouble, and his work ethic was crazy. He played power forward at San Diego State, I believe, for Steve Fisher, the old Fab Five Michigan coach. But his work ethic was good. But when you sit here and say, a guy can't shoot, we're not going to draft him because he can't shoot. But if you believe in his work ethic, he can learn to shoot. That's an attribute that he can do. So his ability not to shoot the ball and him being nervous in an interview, sweating through the suit, was the final straw. So they didn't draft him. They took Markieff Morris, who done nothing for the franchise. They paired him with his brother. They still done nothing for the franchise. And they moved on. Now, could Kawhi had rose Phoenix up out of the ashes and had them burning like a sun again? Yeah, he could have. But that just shows you, I think Lance Blank was whatever his name is, was the general manager at the time. That just lets you know the sign of a bad organization. The final straw was a guy sweating through a suit. He had everything else. The defense, he can drive to the bucket. He had prototypical height. He could defend a position. He could defend multiple positions. He can get to the rim. He was a outstanding, athlete. He was, great in the locker room. He was quiet. He was everything you needed. But him being nervous during a pre-draft visit was the ultimate final blow on not drafting him and taking Markieff Morris. Indiana didn't feel too good about him. They traded him to the Spurs on draft night for George Hill. I just let you know that most of these general managers and organizations don't know what they're doing. This dude in his pre-draft workouts with Chauncey Billups, they was practicing on doing nothing but shooting the mid-range ball, shooting the three ball, and eventually he came in the league. And eventually his shot got better. He improved his game. And every now and again, you get some of these players like Kawhi Leonard who slip outside the top 5, the top 7. They get to 10, they get to 11, they get to 15 range like McCollum and Giannis and Rudy Gobert down there in the 20s, and the 20s with Manu Ginobili, in the 20s with Tony Parker, the second round with Isaiah Thomas, Draymond Green, Monte Ellis. Every once in a while in the NBA, you get some guy that become a superstar or all-star outside the top 5. And you got to just know how to deal with it. Paul George is another guy that slid in the draft. So, Phoenix just, that was one of the dumbest things I ever heard as an excuse why not to draft a guy. A lot of people get nervous for standardized tests. Don't mean they don't do well. A lot of people get nervous at interviews. Don't mean they don't get the job and they don't do the job well. But ultimately, it worked out for him because Phoenix is a dumpster fire. It's a lot of words on these streets that they trying to move that franchise to Las Vegas or somewhere else. And they really haven't, made a huge impact in a long time since,
the early 2000s, when Jason Kidd was guarding Kobe Bryant. Oh, they had Steve Nash and them and Mike D'Antoni, whatever his name is. They did well there, but couldn't get over the hump. Or he ended all that. But hey, let me know what you guys think. I put the article from Essentially Sports in the description, proving it to be true. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You also can reach out to me at any of those social media websites if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Appreciate the love, support. Twitter is the fastest way to get in touch with me. Want to make a donation? Cash App, PayPal. Information in the description. Article link there as well. Appreciate the love, support. Let me know what you guys think about this story. Some crazy draft stories coming out and trade rumors that almost happened coming out. So check the NBA Talk playlist for more videos like this.